All right, ladies and gentlemen, our next guest is Natalie. She is a nurse, a registered nurse, and she's also a healer. So she's found different avenues to helping people, not just Western medicine. It's also Eastern medicine. She's super cool. We just had dinner together, and we were just talking, going off of the rails a little bit.
Yes, we were. Yep.
So how's it going?
It's going great.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What's on your mind? We're talking about some different
Oh
stuff
my
right here.
gosh. Yeah. No, just super happy to be here, and I've learned a lot already.
For me,
We haven't even started.
well, I just think me doing this and starting this journey, I just pick up something from everyone,
Of course you do. And that's how that you spread the wealth.
and I try to share it with this podcast.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Right.
No,
Yeah.
my mind is slightly blown a little bit.
Yeah. So what we were talking about right before was psychic people, and there's a gene. It's actually a junt gene or junt DNA, but it's actually not. They found out it's a special gene where people are psychic.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying full blown they can read people's minds, but when they make predictions, let's just say me and you are on, let's say we predicted 10% of the time, there's a 4% direct correlation that they could do 4% better than average people. 4% across the board. Hundreds, if not thousands of studies. So it's not coincidence.
Yes.
But apparently,
Still wrapping my brain around that one.
yeah.
Yes.
Yes. And we're talking, you said it's the transfer of energy.
Yeah.
And you're like, I would think like people pass it down from ancestors to ancestors, but that's legitimately what genes are.
I know.
Right?
And
You never thought of it that way?
Well, no. It just came together tonight.
Right.
Because I sometimes I hesitate with the gene thing, because I think there's a lot of manipulation with, oh, you have this, you have this, you have this, to diagnose people, and I think sometimes it's a bit too quick on the draw there.
Right.
That makes sense.
That does make sense.
Yeah.
Like apparently
Like you
a
have
lot
to
of kids,
diagnose somebody with something.
like a lot of kids, maybe you've seen as a nurse, have been diagnosed with ADHD. Maybe
Yeah.
they don't have ADHD.
Yeah.
Maybe they're just hyper.
Maybe they're just amazing.
Maybe they're just geniuses or
Yeah.
creative.
Geniuses.
Yes. Yeah, their gene, they have special genes and you
Yes.
misdiagnose them.
Yes, I
But-
mean,
But when you put people in scientific controlled environment and you do a study and you try to replicate it in numerous places
yes.
and the answer comes out to be the same, then it means it's accurate.
Yeah.
Or you can make the probability of this being accurate is correct. I've learned that in my statistics classes.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, I would say I'm very much less scientific than I am I'm more energetic, I would say. I go off of a lot of like how I feel.
Okay. Give me
Yeah.
an example.
I think just with my practice, like I've always kind of been that way, and people.
What's your practice? Share with us.
Reiki.
Reiki.
Yeah,
Right?
well,
And
I
what's
was-
Reiki to you?
So Reiki is basically it is unconditional love. It
Reiki is
energetic,
unconditional love.
unconditional
Mother
love.
to son or daughter.
More so.
More so?
Oh yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah. It's-
Okay.
It's everywhere. So whatever your belief system is, and I really like to tell like people that come to see me, because you have to be careful with God and your belief, like in that sense. But it is just a universal God, whatever your belief is, energy. It is everywhere. So if someone walks into a room and they have an energy about them,
Mhm.
it's healing.
You're welcome, ladies and gentlemen.
You will.
That
Yeah.
people say I have good energy. So
Yeah, you do. You
Thank
do.
you.
And it's healing, and it's energy. It's like, yeah, you can give the person credit, but really it's an energetic thing. Like your energy body extends far greater than you even.
yeah, it's
Can imagine.
it's like 3 meters, I think, or something like that.
Yeah,
Your
it's-
magnetic field,
It's far.
and there's science behind that too.
Yeah, there is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And as a nurse, I have. What kind of nurse are you, or were you?
I started out with orthopedics and trauma, and just loved it. Just soaked everything up, and then I went to GI. I had a lot of GI issues.
Gastrointestinal.
Yeah, gastrointestinal. Yeah. I had
Nice.
a lot of issues on my own, so I was kind of drawn to that. And then that kind of, I was kind of steered more towards alternative medicine.
So have you seen a lot of people that have psychosomatic issues?
Explain that.
Psychosomatic is you have a psychological thought that affects your body negatively.
Absolutely. Yeah.
That's psychosomatic
Yeah.
trauma.
I don't
Yeah.
think they realize that's what's going on.
Yeah.
But yeah, all the time. And I kind of noticed like when I was working as a nurse in the hospitals or outpatient or whatever it was, I noticed that a lot of it was energetic. Even when I was in the alternative medicine world, like all these people were doing all the right things, exercising, feeding their bodies with nutritious foods and all these things, but they were lacking in the spiritual connection, the self-love, like the internal, like
You-
hard work. right?
Yeah, like
They didn't
meditating
love
2 hours a day.
themselves. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was kind of missing. I saw it all the time. I mean, they should have been, super fit and like felt amazing but they weren't. They were miserable, but they were doing all the right things.
So I believe you think what you are or what you can become. So that's why I see
Yeah.
some of these people that eat like really shitty food, but they're really happy and joyful in life. It's like, yeah, this isn't gonna bother me, and it really doesn't.
Yeah. I
For
think that's possible.
yeah.
I mean, I think to an extent.
To an extent, I mean, you're better off being more eclectic, eating healthy.
Yeah, Twinkies
exercising.
every day probably won't
Yeah,
serve you
that's
well.
not gonna.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not gonna serve you
Yeah.
well at all.
I mean, you can even like put Reiki energy on food, and it will taste better and feel better, but to an extent.
Well, that's what I did to our food.
Of course you did. Yeah.
I kind of like blessed it
Yeah.
because that's what I've been taught. Because all you're doing is like, why is it only a priest that could bless the food? They're just giving it positive energy.
Yes.
So I'm giving it positive energy. The intention was for it to taste good and to just be nutritious for you guys. That's it. Keep it simple.
You can even just put energy into it, like a healing energy as well.
Give me an example.
Well, I mean, when I do sessions, I basically, I say my own like prayer. I do all these things. I invite angels in. I have that energetic, welcoming, I guess. And even with food, it's like you can imagine that this is the energy that you're providing. Even when you water plants, like you can put love and all that stuff into it, and they grow better.
They say if you play Mozart for it or music, it tends to grow better too.
Yes. They say that. I've never done that.
Yeah, that's proven too.
Yeah.
Apparently because the thought process has a consciousness.
Yes.
Everything in this world has a consciousness.
Yes. Energy.
Yeah. But we're all one consciousness.
Absolutely.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on that?
No doubts.
No, your thoughts.
Oh, my thoughts on consciousness?
Yeah.
I believe, and I can kind of attest to this. Better?
Okay. Yeah.
I can attest this. I think most people live at an unconscious level. I think that they're living a program and they don't even understand or are even aware of it. Because you see a lot of people that are like, I just don't want this for my life. I don't want this. But it continues to come into their life a certain way.
Yeah, because they're programmed to be that way.
Yeah. It's almost impossible unless you are conscious and aware to reset and make those changes. You have to be aware, conscious.
Yeah. It's hard. How do you become aware?
Well, I started out with probably breath work. I actually started out with experiences that put me in a space where I was just at rock bottom.
Okay, that's
which
great.
I'm grateful for those. Good. I wasn't at the time.
Yeah, you should be.
Super grateful. They were teachers for me, and I that's how I see things now.
A lot of people, it's cancer or some health issue.
Yeah, or even a person that played that role for you. But
you should go back and thank them because it's everything that happened in life that brought you to this very moment.
I don't hear too many people say that.
You should.
I agree.
Yeah.
And I have.
Yeah.
But it's a thing. It's like if you can learn to appreciate everyone for what they did for you in your life, because you can learn from everything, right?
Okay, so how do you go? Because some people have that bad relationship and they have a cycle of having bad relationships. How do you break out of that?
Well, I did. So I've actually, it's funny because I've had this conversation with my dad, right? My love language was fighting for it. I had to put so much work into it because he worked all the time, and my dad's awesome, by the way. We've come a long way, but we had this conversation where it's like anywhere from, I think it's 0 to age 8, you absorb most of your programming. Anytime after that, if you're not really working on those or aware of it, it just compounds. So I would date the same guys all the time.
Same douchebags?
And I didn't want it.
You didn't want the douchebags?
And I kept it tracking.
You don't want them now? The douchebags?
No.
Okay, no assholes, no douchebags?
No
rich assholes?
But I was also a part of that problem. I was vibrating at a level that attracted that same vibration.
Mm-hmm.
You don't plant tomatoes and grow cucumbers. You attract what you plant. Yeah. And I did.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so back to my question, how do you wake up from that and change that?
I think it's different for everyone. I think that meditation is huge, but like a lot of people are like, how do I even start? You just start. Like you literally just have to start with something and start implementing it, because this kind of work is not instant. It takes work. This is hard work, I think. Hard work.
Yeah.
So I started with meditation. I started with breath work. And, it just took time. It took it was a daily practice, and then I would fall again, and then I would implement it because I could see subtle differences. And honestly, I was at a point where I was just like, just give me whatever. Acupuncture, tapping, energy work. I tried everything, and I put so much money into myself that I never had, because even with money I had a bad relationship. It was whole everything, and it really pushed that away more.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. And how's it different now?
I think that I can embrace the things that have held me back, especially with, let's say, money. Let's talk about money. So for me, money was my worth, right? And I was kind of raised that way.
So you put a big value on money.
Huge.
My family taught me otherwise.
They did?
Yeah, I like, just go travel the world. Don't worry about the money. It comes and goes. And that's what I do. And it comes. It just comes.
And it comes.
Yeah, and I'm traveling
it's just a piece of paper.
It's just transfer of energy.
Yes.
Yeah. I got a lot of energy.
Gosh damn, you do.
Yeah. Yeah.
You do. So yeah, I think just, rewiring, reprogramming, creating new habits. And you talk about, at least tonight, you've talked about mindset a lot, and really affirming like what, or even just envisioning what you want your life to be like. Yeah. It's huge.
And guess what? It's that way.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm happy.
But it's hard for someone that's initially starting out to really grasp that. It is, maybe not for you at first, because you're just a goer, man. You just go get it, which is great. It's awesome. But for me, it took me a while to really start implementing things, to start noticing those things. And then it's like, oh, yeah.
I would say start with the feeling of gratitude.
Yeah, that's huge.
That's probably number one. If you don't know where to start, just say, really thankful all this stuff worked out for me already.
Yep.
Even though if it's bad, just say, I'm thankful I worked out. How did it work out? And then you just start working backwards.
Yes. Just waking up in the morning.
Yeah, just waking up. Just be thankful you wake up.
Yes, it's huge. Yeah.
There's a saying, you think you have it bad because you can't afford to buy shoes until you meet someone that doesn't have feet. And then you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it could always be worse.
Yeah, it can always be worse.
Yeah. It's kind of weird to think of it that way, but it's true.
It is.
Yeah.
So someone has it bad, worse than you.
Yeah.
Yeah. You have your feet, you can walk. That's it. You should be thankful for that.
You should be.
People on wheelchairs.
Yeah, gratitude. Yeah, that's huge. Gratitude list is big.
Yeah.
I'm glad you mentioned that.
And that's why that's why when you think you have it bad, like you just like, oh, I'm thankful I'm alive,
Mm-hmm.
And then you just work at it from there.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. So tell me more about Reiki. Some people don't know what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, different people have different ideas of how it works. Can you just break it down for us?
Yes. So Reiki for me, I think it is all about, I really do. I think Reiki is just unconditional, it's just a loving energy. And your higher self knows exactly what you need to heal. It knows exactly what it needs. And then God or the universe or whatever energy you believe in, the two combined, they know what to do. And that could mean that you have a road ahead of you of just like releasing and detoxing for a minute and sitting in that stuff. And then it kind of opens some doors for you. Some people, they have some blockages, and you do a Reiki session on them, and it's like, man, that's what I needed. And then it kind of propels them forward. And not only that, but healing yourself puts you at a higher vibration, and it heals people around you. It just happens.
And you learned this all at nursing school, right?
No.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right.
Yeah, most of it.
Yeah. How did you? So you're a registered nurse, and you want to help people in different ways that modern medicine wouldn't help. How did you come across Reiki work and just energy healing? Did we say energy healing, practitioner work?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think conventional medicine, the one thing that I noticed over time was I was just kind of trying new things, like fasting and like just a lot of things. And I noticed that it was challenging me. And I noticed that when I was working with people in the medical profession, it's not a healthy space. Like they're overworked.
The medical profession, yeah.
No, they're tired, they're exhausted mentally, physically, everything, And I was kind of looked at as like kind of kooky.
Do you think that could be from just people that come in there, they're in pain, they have like negative feelings?
I'm not talking about patients, I'm talking about employees.
Yeah, I know. But that's what rubs off on the employees.
Ooh. That's a good question.
Yeah. I'm sure it has a factor to play with it.
Possibly.
Yeah, they come in there, they're in pain. Like you're not gonna be positive when your stomach you get stabbed.
Yeah.
Or I mean, you're still alive, so if you think of it that way, you
Yeah.
are. But maybe that has a factor to play in there.
That is that I've never thought of that. That is
There's
a
a
good
lot of things you
question.
haven't thought of today.
Yeah, I know. I know. It's
Weird question.
kind of connecting, but
Yeah,
possibly because I think a lot of nurses are very empathic. They have, and that's why they're nurses. They want to help people. They have
yeah,
that.
that's awesome.
So I think people that coming in with certain kind of energy that could easily rub off, especially even when I started Reiki, there's a process in really like guarding yourself and making sure that you're not taking on any emotions or anything like that.
I think nurses are kind of like in a weird spot because they have to be like the middleman
Yeah.
between the doctor and the patient.
Oh, yeah.
So they're getting shit from both people.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And how would you guard yourself? Let's say there's a nurse watching this episode and
Mhm.
you do energy work. How would you be able to guard yourself from like the prestigious, arrogant doctor and also the painful, pessimistic patient?
Mm.
What can one person do?
So you know what? That wasn't really why. That wasn't really. I don't think it was necessarily an issue for me. I think the issue was I had beliefs that they weren't healing and they weren't getting other options to heal. It was this is how it should be done. I mean, doctors I think they're overworked too. So I mean, dealing with that kind of energy, I think over time you just learn that that's theirs and you can kind of like step away from that. It's a practice. It's like a muscle. It's practice.
So you become numb to it in a sense?
I mean, you could call it that.
Yeah.
Or you could just be like, hey, you know what? Like, that's yours. Go
Yeah.
ahead and take that back.
Okay.
Yeah. But patients, I mean, that's a different story. I mean, they come in and you want to help.
Yeah, but let's say they come in, they're negative. Like
Yeah.
you said, you were able to do certain things
Yeah.
to stop negative energy.
Sure.
How would someone else be able
Well,
to learn from you and stop that negative energy?
So
That was my question.
grounding.
What is that?
So grounding is basically imagining like roots coming. This is how I do it. Roots coming out from the feet. You are grounding to Mother Earth and connecting to the energy above, the universal energy. So it's like this through the chakras all the way through. So it's like you're connected to higher sources.
Okay,
Energy.
so do you picture the white light?
I do.
Just like Palouse taught you?
I do.
Shout out to Palouse, the breathing expert and the ice baths.
He's great.
Yeah, he is.
Great. And that's kind of where I started too. I started my breath work. I knew Wim Hof before.
Mm-hmm.
So it was, I kind of eased into it a little bit because I knew that it wasn't bad.
How was your first time? Actually, let's just go back to energy work.
Yeah.
Okay, so when people come in and you want to help them, say they have pain, can you walk me through? Because I've done one Reiki session. It was pretty cool.
On yourself?
Someone did to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, with crystals, and then they did some energy work. And then at the same time, I was doing the Kundalini breath, so I was like shaking all over.
Yeah.
So I was like vibing.
Yeah.
But would you walk me through how you would be able to help someone?
Yeah. So basically, they come in. I think my sessions are starting to evolve and change slightly, but we have a discussion. I kind of connect with your energy and maybe get some information to discuss prior to. We'll do some breath work. After breath work, we'll set some intentions. I also offer hape. I don't know if you've heard of hape, sape.
I've heard of hape, but I don't know what it is.
Yeah, it's like an herbal blend. Some of it has like a tobacco base to it.
Oh, I know exactly what that is.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a tobacco, but it's like healing.
It's
like,
a snuff.
You snort it, or like you inhale it.
You don't breathe it in. You just it's administered by someone, and then it just sits here. In the nose.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is it like the moisture you inhale? Like is it like
powder.
a tea? Oh, it's a powder.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. No,
Yeah.
I don't know if it's
and
for me.
it honestly, for me, I had a lot of wells up. I had a lot of like blockages, and for me, they all hit different chakras. So for me, the heart opening one, I used it for a few weeks, and it just really it just so much release. So much energy and release. So for me, it was helpful, but it's not for everybody.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then you help them with hape. How else do you help them?
Yeah. And then after hape, we'll get them on the Reiki table, and I'll just kind of do my routine.
So Reiki table is like a massage table.
It's like a massage table.
Yeah, but some people just don't know that.
Yeah.
So I'm just trying to paint a picture for them.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, so it's like a massage table. They lay down on their back.
They lay on their back. I have like a PEMF mat that has like crystals infused into it. It's like a infrared sauna. It has photon lights. It has all these things. Yeah. So They lay on that, and then they just relax. Honestly, Reiki almost puts you into that meditative state. It's very, very relaxing. So most people fall asleep.
Can you say it puts you into a hypnotic state?
A what?
Hypnotic state,
Um,
like a sweet spot. So
yes.
it brings you from your conscious mind with all the chatter into a more subtle. You're almost asleep.
They can, yeah.
Yeah.
Some people wake up and they're like, that's it. It's done, because it felt like it was like 2 minutes.
Yeah.
For some.
Yeah. That's how I feel when I meditate. It feels
Yeah.
like a power nap.
Yes.
And then you wake up supercharged.
Yes.
Yeah.
Charged or relaxed or just super calm.
Yeah. Your delta brainwaves.
Mm-hmm.
That's the key. That's where the magic happens.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Delta and theta.
Yeah.
And
I
then
like that.
Yeah, delta. Yeah.
I even have like these glasses that send certain light frequencies, or even just the.
I want to try that.
Yeah, it's pretty. Some people don't like it because they come in, they don't really know what to expect. They're kind of nervous, and they're like, "No, I don't want any more stimulation." I've done both. I love both, but sometimes I'm like, just throw everything out.
I want to meditate with that. Oh,
it's good.
So what it is it just sends out like bursts of light, like you're at a rave.
Yes.
You want to just put this a little closer? I don't know.
Keep slipping down.
Yeah. So maybe like you're at a rave, you know those flashing lights?
Yes.
It's like that, right?
Yeah.
So when you do it a lot, so apparently like it penetrates your conscious mind and it goes.
So your eyes are closed, but yeah.
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 Oh, your eyes are closed. Yeah, that makes sense. It's still coming through.
And then the sound too.
There's sound too.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
It's good.
I've heard of a couch where it does that.
Uh-huh.
The lights, the sound.
Yeah.
And like apparently like you're in this couch that levitates, so it feels like you're levitating.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you're like gone.
I've had people say that they felt like they like levitate.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And
I've even sensed that. Like they are releasing so much that it's almost like a weight has been lifted, and they're just like, oh. I mean, they're not really levitating, but
yeah.
They feel like it.
What would you just say people that are like Reiki's BS? Like I don't believe in any of this stuff. Because like honestly, like generally speaking, there's some people are like, this is just woo woo.
Of course.
Like not me per se.
Yeah.
Because I know the science behind it.
Yeah.
I have tons of books now.
You know, I used to be that person that was like, I would try and convince people. Yeah. No, this is this, and push and push and push, and I found that that's not my purpose. It is just, I know that Reiki will find the people that it needs to. I really do, because it's happened. And people talk, and when they see results, it just kind of trickles. It really does. Energy works different. Like, okay, when you're in sales, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's certain tactics that, you can say, or how you approach it or whatever. You can relate to people and get that sale, right? Where energy work is just different. It's just, it doesn't, I don't know. It's just different. As I've been in sales, like I get all that.
Yeah. Or you could just say bio and energetics. Go Google it.
Yeah.
Bioenergy, it's there.
I've sent people articles and things like that, and just to kind of explain maybe what they'll expect after, because there can be a lot of detoxing. But in order for the body to heal, it needs to detox. It just has to. It's got to get rid of what's not serving.
Speaking of which, so I had some GI tract issues too.
Yeah.
So I went to this lady that actually we did a podcast together.
Okay.
And before, like I just walked in because she was doing like Tai Chi and energy, and I was like, I have something. She's like, okay, start pressing here, and she gave me something. I was pressing. Should I just do that for some time?
Yeah.
And I was like, okay. And then like the next day, I released some energy or some other stuff, and then I got a fever of like 103, 104. Like my head wasn't hurting, my body was just hurting, and like I had a tantrum. I was like, you have COVID. This. I'm like, no, it's gonna go away. The next day, it's gonna go away.
Yeah. I'm
like, I just pictured it going away. I meditated going away. The very next day, I was completely fine.
Yeah.
And I went to this lady. I'm like, it's funny enough because I was supposed to do the podcast with her, and I canceled. Because the next day I was just supposed to go do a podcast with her. I'm like, dude, I'm bad. Like, I cannot come.
Yeah.
I'm that bad, and I don't get sick really. And she's like, okay. She's like, oh, you feel better? I'm like, can we just do it tomorrow? She's like, yeah. So I went back and I told her what happened. She's like, oh yeah, your body will just detox.
Yeah.
She's like, how do you feel now? I'm like, honestly, I feel 100 times better. She's like, yeah, your body just detoxing.
Like a good cleanse.
Yeah, but my temperature was skyrocketing. Like I was legitly like during the morning I was okay. I started feeling sore, and then like after like 1, 2, I was just like there was a sweat, and like I had to go to bed, and I slept like at 7 p.m. But I told myself no matter what, I'm gonna wake up in the morning feeling 100%. I did.
Yeah.
And I was feeling great.
Amazing.
But it was just like it kind of knocked me out for a bit. Yeah.
It will.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's normal though. I think nowadays people the pill thing, right? Take a pill and it's a quick fix, right?
It is. It's
So-
not a quick fix. It's more like a crutch.
I mean, it is that way, but I think people feel better quicker than doing something natural and having to really like dive into that.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
that requires work.
Yeah,
Yeah, so it's a lot of work.
but that's the hard part.
Yeah, people just want to take a pill, watch
Yeah.
the TV, fuck it, just let it happen.
Yeah.
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 Yeah,
So, I don't
but
know.
okay.
It's unfortunate.
Yeah, and another way someone told me is like, well, if you don't believe something to happen, how can it possibly happen?
Mm-hmm.
Like versus like Reiki work, like if you've never seen a ghost, and then you can't just say, oh, I don't believe in ghosts, because there's a lot of people that have crazy stories about ghosts. They've seen their ancestors and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like I've never seen a ghost.
Yeah.
But like my best friend and other people, when they tell me the stories, they're not joking around. Like you
Right.
could just see in their tone, their facial expressions, their body language, like, dude, this seriously happened.
Yes.
Like I didn't imagine it. So the same way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh. I've not seen any ghosts.
I mean, I'm referring to like energy work. Like if you believe it, it'll be more effective. Or if you don't believe it, it'll still be effective.
I believe so. Yeah, I do.
Good.
I think
Good. Then
I think it might be less effective. I do. And even with Reiki, you have to like do the work. Like I'll sit down and talk with people and like, listen, I really believe this is going to like homework assignments, right? I really believe this is going to help you and assist you in your growth. Oh yeah, okay. And then they come back. It's implementing, right? But like I don't know, like yeah, I think that it's important to do the work. You have to do the work.
what kind of work? Well,
Breath work, huge.
oh, okay.
Meditation.
Like the Healy, what kind of work do they have to do?
The healing?
The Healy, the person that's getting the Reiki done on them, do they just lay down and you do all the work?
I'm not doing any of the work. No, it's a higher power.
Right,
Yeah.
but what do they have to do? They just have to
They
be
just lay
open to
there.
their experience.
Yeah, I think by me kind of explaining things and just kind of getting them comfortable, I think that's super important. But even Hape kind of opens things up for people. It's not for everybody, but that helps. And then the breath work really relaxes people. Like I volunteer at Palusa's place, and I'm telling you the receptivity with that, with people just doing breath work, even if they don't even know what Reiki is, it's amazing.
No,
Just from what I can feel,
I believe it.
Yeah.
I was telling you, there's studies done with coherent ceilings. I'll show you the book afterwards.
Yeah.
Like, there's a scientific bunch of studies done.
Yeah.
Where people they get gradually better.
Yes.
With the work. Do you have to be? Oh, here's the thing. When you do Reiki work.
Yeah.
Do you have to be really close to the person? Or you could do it from 500 miles away.
I know that it's possible to do distance healing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I haven't practiced that yet.
Yeah.
But I know it's possible.
I'm in a chat where we do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But it's like a permanent consciousness, collective.
Yes.
And it worked. I mean, it does work.
It does work.
Yeah. People said they felt difference.
Yes. I mean, it all makes sense to me in my brain. Like I can see.
But when you do it from up close.
Yeah.
In the room. So you say you call out angels, or like, how does that work per se? Because I'm trying to wrap my mind around that.
It's just like when you talk about how you envision your life to be. You have a vision of it, and I've seen it. That may creep people out, but I've seen like during sessions. I've felt, I've received messages, and then I've gone to other sessions for myself, and the same information comes up, right? So I know it's confirmed in other ways, and the more I do it, the more I practice, I'm receiving more, and yeah, it's kind of crazy because the more you do, the more you practice, the better you get.
Okay.
Kind of like that. So yeah, calling in angels is just, for me, it's just kind of a prayer. It's just like the process. I sit down, I let go of attachments, I let go of my ego, I let go of expectations, and I just kind of, I'm focused on just being a clear vessel for that person.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're calling in higher beings.
Yeah.
So you call them angels. Can they also be interdimensional beings or spirits? I don't want to say demons because that's a bad connotation.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Do you know where I'm going with this?
Yeah. I kind of set a space of like inviting. I'm not inviting like negative energy.
Yeah.
And there are, archangels. There are angels that are just people's guides on a day-to-day basis that are there, that I'm not like, hey, that person needs to be, they just are there.
You're talking about
their guides.
Okay.
Yeah. So, people that maybe don't believe in that as having angels or guides that are assisting them on a day-to-day, I mean, they're there. Yeah.
They're there.
Oh, they're there.
Can you just see this stuff, or like
I can feel it.
You can feel it.
Like even with me, like I know like who my angels are. I feel them from time to time, like right next to me.
Can you explain to me how you feel that? Is it intuition? Is it a sense like?
For sure. Yeah.
Can you? I always try to understand this. Can you explain it a little deeper? Put it into words for me. I know it's hard to put it into words, but if you could please try or paint me a picture.
Yeah.
And this is me asking from childhood curiosity.
Oh, that's hard to do. It is. I don't know. I guess like when you walk into a room and you feel a certain kind of energy, like you know whether it's good for you or it's bad for you. Like instinctually, like your body knows what's good and bad for your body.
So you trust your gut instinct.
Yes, it's all intuition. I mean, everybody has the ability.
Yeah. It's that stuff.
Yeah. So it's just trusting that, and it's a muscle. For me, like if you would have talked to me 10 years ago, I would have never told you that I'd be doing this ever.
Okay.
Yeah.
I believe you. Trust me, I believe you.
Yeah.
If I thought to myself 10 years ago, I'd be like, you're a fucking quack.
Exactly. Yeah, you're crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and a lot of people think that. That's fine, but it's practice. And I believe too, like things are put into your path for a reason for you, even if it seems like it's horrible and just like unbearable. Like you get through it, you'll learn from it, and then you can look back. Hopefully you choose to do that, but you can look back and be grateful.
Yeah. I still want to know what the internet, like what feeling do you get? Do you get a sensation?
Like,
do you open yourself up to it? Or are you like consciously aware of it?
For sure. Yeah. It's during my meditations. So every morning I get up, I'm up super early because for me, that's super just peaceful. I feel like that's when like the good energy like really resides. It's like there in the morning.
Have you ever tried the same thing at night before you sleep?
I have, yeah.
Did you get the same feeling?
I still get good feelings, but it's not the same for me.
Yeah, your serotonin level is really, or melatonin. Yeah.
Melatonin?
Yeah, you're sleeping. Yeah, your melatonin level is really high. Have you ever heard of the witch's hour? We can talk about this off there.
Yeah.
But there's a witch's hour. It's from 1 a.m. to 4 a.m.
Yeah.
So during Joe Dispenza's meditations, we wake up like at 3, and then we just go in and meditate for 4.5 hours. Because there's a sweet spot when you're in that waking state and you're in that dream state. And you're able to concentrate, tap into source.
From 1 to 4?
Yes. Because your body's melatonin levels spike from 1 to 4 a.m.
Wouldn't that just make you sleepy?
Yes, but the point is to be awake, and you're half asleep, half awake. You're in that dream state. You're able to tap into things 10 times better.
Really?
Yeah, that's why when witches do magic and spells, it's always from 1 to 4 a.m.
What?
And if they do it on the full moon, it's 10 times more effective. Because the energy, talk about all this stuff off there.
Okay.
Yeah. You didn't know about that? So that's why
no.
when you, see, there's a science behind it. Your melatonin level's up.
Sure, that makes sense.
That's why I like it. That's why it's called magic and science, or magic or science.
Yeah.
Because it's magic and science technically.
Okay.
You just feel better because you say you even said it verbally. That's why I let you finish. You're able to tap into your angels.
Yes.
Or your whatever you need to do, your guide, your intuition, whatever you want to call it. You want to call it source, God.
Yeah.
I like calling it the force.
Yeah.
You're able to tap into it better.
Yeah.
Because you still have that half dream, half waking state, and you have more control though. You're just gearing it better. Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna try that.
Yeah. It's fact. That's a fact. I'll send you like pure, scientific evidence to prove it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So you say you tried at that time and it works in the morning. And then what about like you said you could feel it when everyone has it. Can you just sense it from other people without being in that meditative state?
Yes. But only because when I'm doing Reiki, I wouldn't say I'm in a meditative state because I'm up, I'm moving, I'm feeling like the energy. Like I do like a body scan. They call it biosin. It's like the energy that you feel in particular areas of the body. So how high the biosin is or how low it is, that's where you need to start first. If it's higher or lower, if it's higher.
I want you to do it on me.
It's good.
Or like a mini one, at least we could try it.
A mini one,
Yeah.
So it just like, I don't know. I'm not really in a meditative state.
No, you're not in a meditative
state.
State.
So this is what's really interesting is when I first started Reiki, I feel like I saw a lot like more visions, right? Like it came to me more in pictures, like visions, right? And even just the sensation and the feeling, I would feel it was like a full body. Some people I could feel the hurt and the pain, like I could feel it.
You can literally feel their pain.
But it was almost like a lesson for me to be like, you're not the one healing here. Like, you don't need to feel anything for it to work. And it kind of stopped. Like, that sensation stopped. I can feel it in my hands. Like, I can feel the energy flowing through my hands. But a lot of that has kind of stopped, almost as if, hey, you know what? Like, you don't need to feel all this to like be doing something. It's working. And it's true. It works, right? That was hard for me.
Okay, was it hard for you because you're practically burdening their pain? You're bearing their pain in a sense that you were feeling it. Like, I mean,
It was hard for me that I couldn't feel that anymore because I almost felt like I was doing something because I felt it.
okay.
Yeah. And I don't have to do that.
Was it harder for you to do it when, like, let's say people come in, they've been raped, you know, like you're feeling that, like, that you're feeling that empathetic
Yeah.
feeling.
Yeah.
And you feel it every single time.
Yeah. Not always. Sometimes I feel nothing.
Okay.
And that's how it's supposed to be.
Okay.
Yeah. Every individual, I could have 10 clients come in,
Mm-hmm.
same amount of time for a Reiki session. I do the same thing and a completely different result.
Yeah, everyone's different.
Everyone's different.
Everyone's different.
But, you know, people have those questions. Well, how is this going to look for me after the session? And what am I going to feel? And what if I don't feel this? There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they do. Everyone feels completely different.
Like,
I mean, similar things like, oh, you know, I felt like I was detoxing today. Or, you know what, a week later, something came up as far as emotions,
okay.
right? It hits everyone at different times and in different ways.
Okay. And how would they be able to build on that and improve on your Reiki sessions?
So I have one client that she's been coming in, and the more she comes in, the more she feels. At first she felt nothing, and that doesn't really mean anything.
Is that from like she was traumatized from like rape and she's numb and she's felt nothing, or like what do you mean she's felt nothing?
She didn't feel. A lot of people think that with Reiki you have to feel something, like, oh, you should feel some sort of vibration or tingling or something, which you can, but you don't have to. So
I felt it. I mean, I've only done it once,
and some people do, but
I just want to try it.
A lot of times when you're more in tune, also,
yeah,
you feel more.
Yeah, I literally felt the heat.
Yes.
Of her hands.
Yeah.
And I felt like there's someone in the room. Even though like me per se, no offense, I didn't feel like I don't believe there's angels and stuff. But literally, I felt there's something in the room. Like in the corner of the room, there was something beside me and that lady that doing it to me. Like I understand what you mean, but like I want to put it into words.
Yeah.
But here's the thing: it's like an analytical brain.
Yeah.
Where you have to say to your analytical brain, "Shut the fuck up." You do.
Yes.
But I literally felt like there was something else. Like, you know how like you feel like someone's staring at you.
Yeah. That's how you felt?
That's how I felt. Like, you know how you feel like someone's staring at you, and you turn around, someone is actually staring at you?
Yeah.
But my eyes were closed the whole time. But you know how like you have that feeling that there's someone staring at you?
Was that like a creepy feeling or like
no, it was not a creepy feeling at all. It was different.
Yeah.
It was not threatening.
Yeah.
But I didn't feel intimidated at all.
Yeah.
But it's like something I have not felt before. So it was a new feeling.
Well, I've had you can call them angels, guides, whatever. I've had family members like present, and their names will come up. I'm like, hey, do you know so and so? Yes, and they just start.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And scary for me too, because like this is kind of new for me. The things that are coming to me, it's like, this is. I mean, sometimes names come up, and it could be lineages down the road. They may not have any idea who this person is.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean they're not there. Doesn't mean they're not present. It doesn't mean that I can feel like the love from these these spirits. I can feel it.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
It's healing.
Yeah, it is healing. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And have you had people just come back like, oh my God, you totally helped me?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And I have people that come back because they're detoxing severely. I'm like, you got to get more in. Like the more detoxing you're doing, they call it a healing crisis. I've read it in some of the books where it's called a healing crisis, where, you have all these detoxing symptoms, and it's really your body trying to remove, like when you do a cleanse and you detox all these chemicals and toxins, you can recirculate that stuff. You want to remove it, right? That's the point. So doing another session, maybe 2 in a row or 3 in a row, or even just 1. I just had a client that did that, and she's like, oh my God, thank you so much. Like, that helped so much. And it just brings things to the surface.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's interesting. I need to look at that. But yeah, there's definitely evidence that you can actually heal people with your with intention.
Yes.
And energy.
It's not. Oh, people do it all the time, and they have no idea what's going on. I've had people come to me and they're like, "Hey, I just placed my hands on my boyfriend.
Uh-huh.
His back was hurting and it went away."
Yeah.
I'm like, "Yeah, you got something there, girl."
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
You probably love that person, so.
Yeah.
Yeah. It works better, right, when you love?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
does.
Yeah, I'm sure it does, because there's more emotion. There's
Mm-hmm.
more of intention.
Mm-hmm.
And on the last note,
Mm-hmm.
I asked you this question earlier. What do you think one thing people could do just to better themselves? Let's say they're in a city situation.
Yeah.
They're depressed. They're broke. They're unhealthy. What advice would you give them?
I would say, man, and this may be hard to I don't know, but I think self-love is huge. If you love yourself and you really put the energy towards loving yourself, everything works out. It just does.
So put the energy towards loving yourself.
Yes. How do you give anything when you're not giving it to yourself? How's that possible?
Well, Gandhi said you want to change the world, start by changing yourself.
Yeah.
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 But that's love. That's with love.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so learn to love yourself.
Yeah.
Unconditionally.
Unconditionally.
Nice. And then you'll learn to
Everything.
love other people. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, Natalie, how can people reach you if they want, a Reiki session in Utah?
Yeah, so I do it out of my home. It's in Bountiful. You can reach me at Natalie J. Blair on my Instagram account.
Okay. Or email.
Email.
I'll put your information up there.
Yeah.
Do you have like a business, or
working on that?
you're working on that? All right,
name, the everything, the cards,
You're working
the
on
website,
that.
all that.
It's in the works.
Yeah.
But you're doing it.
Yeah.
And it's going. It's just getting better and better.
Yes, it is.
Cool. Right on. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming on,
Yeah.
ladies and gentlemen. If you like this episode, and I'm sure you will, go ahead and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.